Hi guys, on this installment of PJ Cooks Sexy Food, we're going to make my version of an Italian classic. We're going to be making chicken piccata. So let's get started.
So the ingredients today for our chicken piccata, we have half a cup of lemon juice, a cup and a half of chicken stock, we have a third of a cup of white wine, we have about half a cup of all-purpose flour, we have some salt, some pepper, we have 3 tablespoons each of extra virgin olive oil, and our garlic infused oil that we had left over from when we made our roasted garlic. We have a couple of tablespoons of capers, the zest of 1 lemon. We have half a cup of roasted artichoke hearts, which are simply artichoke hearts that I tossed with lemon, olive oil, garlic, and roasted in the oven. And we have 5 tablespoons of butter. And of course, what would chicken piccata be without our chicken? So I have a couple of chicken breasts here that I went ahead and I butterflied or scallopini, and then I pounded thin. And these chicken breasts, first we're going to start off, we're going to need to season them. So we're going to give them all a good hit of salt, good bit of pepper, and I'm going to do that onto all pieces of chicken and get all sides. Okay, now that the chicken is well seasoned on all sides, I'm going to head and take this away. I'm going to bring over our large saute pan. In that pan, I'm going to put some of our olive oil, some of our garlic oil, and a tablespoon of our butter. I'm going to go ahead and get this on the heat, and I'm going to get this nice and hot. Meanwhile, I'm going ahead and bring a plate over. I'm going to sprinkle out our flour, give that a shot of salt and pepper, or in this case, pepper and salt. I'm going to grab a little fork, just make sure that that's well incorporated, just like that. Then I'm going to take our pieces of chicken. I'm just going to lightly dredge them in our flour. I don't want a coat, I don't want a heavy coating. I just want them lightly coated, just like that. I'm going to line them up on my sheet pan right here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to dredge up some more of these pieces of chicken. And then by the time enough pieces are dredged, we'll be ready to get them into that saute pan. Now I'm going to do this in a couple of batches because I don't want to overcrowd the pan. I want our chicken to get nice and golden brown. Our oil is good and hot. If you look close, you can see our butter has started to brown a little bit, and the smell of that garlic is perfuming the kitchen. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to introduce my chicken into the pan. I'm going to get as many pieces as I can, giving them all a little bit of space. I could probably squeeze one more in there. There we go, just like that. And we're going to saute our chicken until it's about 4 minutes on each side. So as you can see, our chicken is starting to cook. You can see it's starting to get opaque around the edges. That's perfect. Now we can go ahead and flip our chicken. You can see it's just picking up just a little bit of color around the edges. That's all we want. We don't want our chicken to be brown. We just want it to have a little bit of golden hue. So we'll go ahead, flip these over, cook the second side, and then I'll finish up and cook the rest of these batches of chicken. Okay, so the second side of our chicken is done, so I'm going to take it off. I'm going to remove it onto a little sheet pan I have off on the side. I'm going to look at the pan, see how it looks, if it's a little dry. I'm going to give a little bit more of our oils before I put in our second batch. Let's give it a little, doesn't need that much more, just a little bit. And I'm throwing in another tablespoon of butter because that helps promote browning on the chicken. So I'll go ahead and finish up all this chicken. Okay, so the last of our chicken is nice and browned. I'm going to remove it from the pan, just like so. Now I'm going to toss in my capers, let them like a little fry up a little bit in that oil in the bottom, just like that. Perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in my wine. I'm going to reduce that for just a moment. Now that our wine is reduced, we'll go ahead and we'll add in our lemon juice, our chicken stock, our lemon zest, our artichoke hearts, and we're going to get this up to a simmer And we're gonna just let this reduce and let the flavors all come together. Okay, so our sauce has been simmering away for a few minutes. Our flavors are starting to come together. Now it's time to put our chicken back in. We're gonna nestle our chicken all into our sauce. And what's gonna happen here is that we're gonna let this still continue to cook on the stove. We're gonna let it reduce a little more. The flour coating on the chicken is gonna work to thicken our sauce a little bit. It's gonna tighten up. It's gonna be absolutely delicious when this is all done. And just before finishing, we'll taste it for salt, pepper, and we'll finish it off with a couple of tablespoons of butter to really add some richness to this sauce. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this back onto the stove, get all the juices that were in that pan out that the chicken was resting in. And we'll be back in just a few moments. Okay, so our chicken's been simmering on the stovetop for a couple of minutes now. You can see how our sauce has gotten nice and thickened. You can see how our chicken is fully cooked. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna just drop in a few pats of butter right in. We're gonna stir that butter right into the sauce. That's gonna add a whole layer of richness. It's gonna cut some of the sharpness from that lemon juice in there. And it's just gonna make it absolutely delicious. We're doing the butter off the heat, so we're just doing what's actually called montebeurre, which is to mount with butter. And we're just gonna make this absolutely wonderful. And then once we're completed here, I'm gonna go ahead and plate this up just so you can see how beautiful this sauce is gonna be. And you know what you can use? You can use a little splash of color. I don't have any fresh, so today I'm gonna use some dried. I'm gonna throw some dried parsley in there. I'm gonna keep stirring that butter in with that parsley. Oh, look how pretty that looks. Can't wait to dig into this. So in just a few moments, I'll plate this up and you'll see how delicious it is. Okay, so I went ahead and I plated up our chicken. You can see how beautiful that looks. The capers, the artichoke hearts, that lovely lemon wine sauce that we created over the chicken. It's absolutely delicious. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you try it at home. Thank you for tuning in to PJ Cooks Sexy Food. We'll see you next time.